And what can you actually say? I don't think there's a team in the world, barring maybe Real Madrid and maybe PSG, that wouldn't swap their position for Arsenal's in terms of squad depth, psychological side of things. You know, everyone in the squad seems to be happy. There's not too many egos going on there. Financial situations brilliant. The fans are everything right now. What's the date? October 20 whatever. Everything right now is perfect with Arsenal. And we know it's obviously peaks and valleys, but at this current moment, I don't think there's anything anyone can say to discredit how Arsenal are doing. It's like you were saying before. It's we've got that baggage in terms of mentality. We're not going to know, like you say, until May if they've got that in them. But these players are unbelievable at football. No one is disputing that. What people might dispute, and what is fair enough to dispute, is do we have the bollocks? Can I swear?
Yeah.
We have the bollocks to get it over the line?
Fall off my screen.
Do we have the bollocks to get it over the line? Big up everyone, man. Welcome back. And we are back with it Under the Lens, and it's a special one today because, like I said, man, we're gonna spin the block back for the members, back for the people that's always shown love and jumped on. And today we have Dr. Seymour Butts, or America's public servant. How are you today, my bro?
Oh, absolutely lovely, man. Thank you very much for having me. Big up to you. Big up to the chat. We got the absolute legends out over here. So, you know, all I can say is sit down. You know, I mean, it may, I guess, well, depending on which time zone you're in, popcorn would probably be permissible. But, if you are waking up, you know, sit down, have a coffee or a cup of tea, you know, get comfy because we're going to have a nice little conversation.
Yes, sir. And I've definitely been looking, and always have a great chat whenever you're on. Like I said, I was finding it very hard to tag your channel in the actual title, but I've got your link pinned. It's in the comments, so all of you guys in the chat right now, go over and show him a little bit of love like we always do over here. Show the guests some love. We'll have a quick little roll call. I can see Kwaja's in there. There's the link to the second channel. Big up to you, Kwaja. Big up Views and Doc, legends on the panel. Good afternoon. Big up to you, my bro. Like I said, Seymour's link is pinned. I say Dr. Seymour's link is pinned. Make sure that you're clicking it and showing him some love. Again, big up to Kwaja for all the early comments. Let's see who else we got in it. E. Ross is in the building. Big up to you, the boss. Hope you're good today, my friend. Yeah, E. Ross is in it. He said, shake my head. I know, but I just had to remind the people of what's going on the biggest Arsenal channel on the internet. Big up the legend that is Jam Boy. Hope you're well today, my friend. Another member, valid person in the community, and like I said, hopefully we'll get a Under the Lens done with him as well. And another one. Big up Wahaha each and every time. Everything is perfect with the Arsenal. We're getting a second opinion from a proctology point of view. Wow, brilliant. E. Ross said, Seymour, bro, get the gloves ready. Man, we're gonna have a nice chat, man. Good day, gents and chat. Big up to you. Yasser's in the building. Big up to you, my friend. Hope you're well. Make sure you're subbing to Yasser. You're all mods anyway, so get your links in if you've got a channel. He said, can't click on the links on the title. Yeah, I know. I don't know why. I was trying all day yesterday. I was trying, it's me, Dr. Butts. I was trying to do that. It weren't working. So I think it's a setting. But the link is in the comments. It's pinned. So please go and show my guests all the love in the world. Big up to the Chelsea agent. That is Yasser. Nothing but love to him. His channel's doing very well, nearly at 1K now. So go and show him love. And there, you know what I mean? Views on Sports Special. There's the community, man. Big up to you, E. Ross, legend, and Napoleon Solo in the building. Smash the likes, hit the link that's pinned. Let's start this, man. I normally like to ask, how you got into the team, your early memories, how you got into, what made you support this club, and then obviously maybe a good and bad early memory from yourself, sir.
Yeah. So first game that I can ever remember, I was maybe 5. No, I was just on the cusp of 5. So as you know, we didn't really get a whole lot of Premier League, TV action, not until say, like the more late 2010s. But prior to that, like it was very sporadic. you know, like depending if you had like a certain like TV subscription or or package or what have you. But every now and again they would play, you know, rather like there would sometimes be like a Premier League a match playing, you know, like featuring some of the more larger headliners. So like for example, like the first game that I watched like was Arsenal versus United '97 in November at Highbury. And like and what a game that was too. I mean, so at the time, like my aunt and uncle, like they had just met. My uncle is from Dover, and he ultimately like had met my aunt online, like in one of those like AOL like instant messenger like group chats from like way back in the day. And ultimately he always knew that he wanted to move over here. And when he was over here, like rather it was just like a game that was, you know, that was on. He was watching, and I had joined him. I to be very honest, like I didn't really watch a whole lot of the Invincible season, unfortunately. But I mean, like, but it only just, you know, like retained, I guess, like that like further like connection that like, oh, like so this was something that I had watched in my childhood, you know, like I probably got into Arsenal like unfortunately in 2007, 2008, like when Eduardo broke his leg. like that was like I mean, you know, like there's like a time and place for everything, right? You know, but I mean, like I had watched like a lot of like World Cup football. I didn't really get into like club football, like not until much of a later date, but I had always known of Arsenal, like just like very like sporadic memories. So so I guess like to that end, worst memory that I had,
Eduardo
2007 2008. I mean, like it could not have been like more traumatic than that, right? You know, like rather like seeing Arsenal like soon to be on the cusp of winning a league, you know, like a few years after going invincible, only up until like Eduardo got his leg chopped in half.
That was, and what a striker he was, man. Like what a, you know what I mean? I think we've had two players at Arsenal, him and Diaby. Like if that never happened to them, like, oh my god, man. Oh my god, what a player he was, man. But no, brilliant, man. It's always good to hear, and especially that you've obviously got family on this side of the pond as well, or you know, that's where it all began. So no, brilliant, man. Really appreciate that. Big up to BBK in the house. Hope you're well today, sir. Big up to BBK, man. Each and every time, make sure you're subbing to him, showing him all the love. Wahaha, bro. Soul's King, you know. And there's BBK's link. Big up to Vigilante in the building as well. Hope you're well this evening or this afternoon, I should say. Heads all over the place. I've been up for hours already. Cool. So that's obviously kind of how you got into it, and a bad memory. I don't know if we kind of etched out a good one, early good memory.
You know what? Fair point. So good. So I would say probably good memory. Like was that Champions League semifinal run in what, like 2008, 2009. That was probably the first good memory. And I mean, like so I would say like from like 2007, 2008, I started to watch like the club like much more consistently at the club level. And you know, like, and let me tell you, like, probably like Cesc Fabregas, probably like one of my most favorite players like growing up. He was absolutely. I mean, he just oozed class. He just oozed class, and the fact that he was even at Arsenal, like just because like he couldn't break out of like La Masia at the time, like I mean, it just felt so unprecedented, and the fact that we had so many other like unknown ballers at the time, like that, I think had got me to love Arsenal so much. Was just because rather like so for example, like what Brighton are doing right now, like uncovering like all like like all those diamonds in the rough and then developing them. I mean like to me, like I've always found that to be such a critical component, like rather like not of the game like on the pitch, but just but just like part of the game and like in general, like especially like kids that come from more like underprivileged like backgrounds, like who may not be able to like have the chance, like say for example, like in the United States, like it's definitely like a pay for play kind of system, unfortunately, like and that's also why unfortunately like the United States like has like a pretty shoddy like football team, right. But to that end, like like we always see like like players coming out of the like favelas, in Brazil, like players or other like kids from around the world like are able just to, I guess, maybe have like greater access, to like develop that career, but I don't know. Bit of a tangent there. I apologize, but but ultimately, just another great memory, that 2-1 win against Barcelona. I'm at home in the Champions League, round of 16. I mean, like again, like Fabregas and also like Jack Wilshere at the time. Of course, like we had like the few FA Cup wins, but I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy as well. But there has just unfortunately been far more disappointments, than there have been, I guess, like successes, or changes to be proud of. And I also feel like a bit of a schmuck because like I probably should have been wearing my Arsenal kit that I had bought back in 2011.
Right. Nah, listen, I mean, look, we all support in our own ways. And like I said, we all PTSD in our own ways. And that's the cold, hard truth. That's what I was talking about on the intervention earlier. That is the fact. Whether we're all singing and dancing or whether we're getting dragged like roadkill, we're never coming across that line first. So, how can it be an agenda when it's just the cold, hard truth? But there you go. And it's interesting as well, just quickly, that it made me think of it when you was talking about America not, having a shoddy football team. For such a big country, if you guys would have just if you take it seriously, then surely in the years to come, you could actually be, I've always believed if America took the game seriously, they'd be one of the biggest nations in it. Do you know what I mean? Because of how big the country is.
You're absolutely correct. And also, so I mean, like, it's still to an extent a secondary sport. So I would say, like, when I was growing up, and why was not really as like heavily televised and broadcasted. Big up AJ. It's just because even back then it was even more of a tertiary sport, right? It was still ranking second to golf. But to that end, like over like the last 10, 15, 20 years, when say like from like 2008ish to maybe like 2012, 2014, like we had a few players there, and we had made a bit of a run in the World Cup in 2010, but and it was just like those like little spurts, as well as like winning like a few I guess like hemispheric like competitions, and like whether it be like the Gold Cup. I'm not sure if anyone's like familiar with that.
Cup of America, or
are they in Cup?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. You know what? Honestly, like as you can tell, I don't really follow like the U.S. like football team too much because unfortunately they are really nothing home to write about. Yeah, I mean the only thing I can say is that is that like the national team captain. I mean, like I live in his like, well, I live maybe like 10-15 minutes like down the street from like where they.
Okay, and because there was a period, when you had like the Dempseys of this world, and who's the other? It's like the young black talent. Was his name? Isn't it Edu?
Josie Altidore. Yeah.
And there was they had a few players, man, in the MLS, and I just thought, damn, if they could just get their act together. Because, like I said, I used to play semi-pro and I played for Camden Borough. And in year 2000, we were sponsored by McDonald's. We went to Denmark, a place called Horing, and we played the under-19s tournament. That's when I played Brøndby and Grasshoppers and things like that. But that was the first time I was ever exposed to American people liking football. But it was all girls, Doctor. It was all girls. I'm thinking, what? And some of them were lovely, by the way, and they loved the accent. Of course, we had good times. But I'm talking about just they were taking it really serious, and they were really good. I'm saying, damn, like what? It's only for the girls in the States. I mean, is that generally how it's been? Because I've not even actually touched down in the States yet.
I mean, it's definitely fair to say that the women have had much more success at the regional and international level. So I think it was it was either like late 90s or early. It was either like 98 or 2000. I think there was like a Women's World Cup in that year that the US had won. And they had like a few, well, rather they had like several like phenomenal stars. Like one of them I can remember is Mia Hamm, like that, but I couldn't tell you the rest of them. I do apologize. Unfortunately, just that's a little bit Yeah, well, unfortunately, I just didn't focus on it. But that being said, like the women's team has always been far and wide, like much better than the men's, and perhaps like young women, like in the U.S. like had looked to them like as role models to perhaps like pursue that. Well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I just thought it was a bit of a because when you mentioned it, I thought, no, man, the country's so big and it's so kind of like into all the other sports, as BBK saying, NFL, NBA, baseball, even college. I watched the documentary. The college football is crazy. That looks like just like it's the NFL for real. Like these guys, like they're living movie star life, lifestyles before they're even outside school. But we're kind of digressing a little bit. Big up to BBK though. Big up to all you legends in the building. 20 of you, please hit the like. Big up to Storm as well. Get your questions in for the doctor as well. We'll try and get to that at some point. He said, big up my brother's views and doctor feel good. Big up my familia in the chat. Lateness is greatness. Just got home from work. How's everyone doing? Well, firstly, hope you get well soon, bro. I know you had a stint in hospital. You know what I mean? Just like BBK, hope the ACL's going well. Hope everyone's good. We're nearly midweek. And we've got a couple of weeks of grime to get through. Absolute rubbish. Big up Storm again. Big up to Rob. He said, big up views. Caught you in the day for once. Yeah, big up to you, man. And we got the doc with us as well. So glad you can catch us today, man. AJ, big up again. I'll just see if I've missed anything quickly. Mia Ham, Brandon.
Yeah.
See?
I'm a total schmuck for forgetting, Julie. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Bro, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know none of the... I mean, we got Chloe Kelly. That's probably about it. Olivia Smith. That's about it. Like, we're talking about the Arsenal ladies here. And some people might have an argument that the Arsenal ladies are better than the men currently as well, but that's another conversation. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's another conversation.
We'll get to that at a later time, for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Big up to you as well, Hendon Guna, absolute legend. Good to have you in. We all remember Mia Hamm in the glory days. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Cool. So let's get back to Arsenal then. Where would you say, because obviously everyone's got their own perspective, where would you say we are right now? 25, 26. Some people are going overboard. Some people are saying quad. Some people are saying won't concede a shot, even though that's kind of past now. How is it in your eyes, bro?
I think this season is definitely make or break, not just for this manager, but also just for the mentality of this club. Like we have players that have now experienced bottling the league twice, who have been starved for trophies, and and I know that people were saying that, I was listening to Aaron's stream yesterday, and big up Aaron. DJB talking the absolute facts. Facts.
Right.
So what he was referencing was that, all the players that have been like re-signing new contracts, there's a supposed belief that that the players are signing because rather like Mikel is staying here long term, where rather it's the inverse. And what and DJB made the phenomenal point that like when these contracts are getting re-signed, the players are asking, are we going to win silverware? Like, what kind of guarantees are we going to have if we don't win anything this year? And I can guarantee you, I totally agree with what DJB is saying. Berta is providing them the list of managerial names that that will come in next season if Arteta doesn't win anything. I mean, I don't think people understand what is going on here. We are somehow we're no longer in a phase or a project anymore, which would only constitute that we have to win something this year. And and ultimately, in my perspective, I mean, I know that you and others may feel differently. You don't go through a 6 or 7 year project, spend £1 billion just to win a domestic cup, or 2 for that matter. You need to be winning the biggest trophies available per season, not to dismiss the domestic cups. They are, again, a trophy is a trophy. And as a big club, as the elite club that we espouse ourselves to be, we should be winning a trophy every year. That is the objective. But for just for Arsenal to maintain its status as a big club, But to that end, Arteta needs to win a major just to even save his managerial career. Not to say his managerial career at Arsenal, his managerial career in general. Because again, I keep on asking anyone who, you know, and there's a lot of people in the chat who know a lot more about sports than I do. Really and truly. I'm not going to say that I'm like the largest sports head, but I can guarantee you won't be able to find any other manager across any sport, across the history of time, that has spent this much money and won nothing. Still have a job.
Still have the job in any industry. Like, you know, you're not hitting your KPIs. You know, that's just Anyway,
so, I mean, ultimately getting back to your question, you know, like, how do I feel about this season? You know, some people are saying that I am overreacting from the from the result against Sunderland. I think everyone's underreacting. You know, like maybe because I truly believe in I believe in psychological like analysis. Like, I believe in behavior patterns. What we saw at that match the other day was repeated behavior patterns, not from this squad in general, but from this manager, both as a manager tactically, but also dating back to his time as a player for Arsenal. Like, rather like, we knew that Wenger was on the downturn from, say, like, you know, like 2011 up until the time that he left. And he still won 3 FA Cups? Yeah, 3 FA Cups, right? Yeah. You know, like, and to that end, Arteta was there for the entire fucking time. Pardon my French.
No.
Like, and he learned how to bottle it. He learned how to be spineless and weak there because rather it was those teams. We were getting bullied around by the Stoke cities. We were getting bullied around by the Birmingham cities. You know, like we had that soft underbelly. You know, like, and we still do. Like, rather like that match against Sunderland again. They've been playing great. Kudos to them. And I know I'm ranting. I'm just going to wrap it up here. But but ultimately, like we've just met this is a £1 billion squad. We're rather like, I mean, like, we are mentality monsters. We are the heir presumptive to this rather like to the quad this year. We should have been going up to the stadium. Like, again, this is not the Bernabeu. This is not Camp Nou. I mean, it's not even Ellen Road. Seriously, again, credit where credit is due. They've been playing very well this year. They set up tactically and they knew how to get at us. So again, credit where credit's due. Not taking away that from them, but from our perspective, oh my days, no, we should know. Like again, like they should be seeing a 5 car alarm like from that result.
That's what I'm trying to say, because that's what it kind of brought me back to. That was the PTSD, like the Stokes of this world, and like we're up against 11 Ryan Shaw crosses. That's what it felt like in that Sunderland game. We wasn't getting to none of the second balls. They were digging in at what they were good at in terms of long balls and just being physical. They were winning a lot of headers as well. It wasn't exactly meat and drink for us. And it's like, why can't you read the room? Why can't you see that? And then you want to go back in your shell when it's already like that? It makes no sense. But I totally agree, man. Talking of that Sunderland game, just quickly before we move on, how do you see the point? Because for me, it feels significant, but then I might be overreacting. So I want to talk to everyone else. So how do you see the point, bro?
I believe it's 2 points dropped easily. Yeah. I mean, like, it shouldn't even be a debate. Again, like, credit where credit's due. They played a good game, but they were just promoted. I don't like, and again, like, we have a £1 billion squad. We also have like a fixed bench. We have so much, quality squad depth, that even the second team could get into the top 6 from what I've been told. I mean, again, like, it's all this fakakta mishigas that continues, to be, regurgitated and repeated. I mean, like, again, like these top gooners, like these Arteta gonad ticklers, like they think that they think that the last 5 years didn't even exist.
They do.
I mean, they are just completely whitewashing all of all of these occurrences. Oh well, these were different. These were different seasons. These were different squads, different mentality. We're mentality monsters. Ron for the quad. Like no, it's the same. It's the same theme. It's the same. The same exact theme that's playing out.
Yeah.
And the only consistent, if you will, lightning rod throughout this entire time from 2000. So mind you, like we bought the league in 2013-14, we bought the league in 2015-2016, we bought the league in 22-23, we bought the league in 23-24. All 4 of those times, Mikel was there as a player or a manager. I mean, again, like it is, like he is the consistent aspect in the failure.
Dominator, yeah.
And exactly the common denominator, and for some reason he has this cult following, like he's achieved anything as a player or a manager. This donut Pinchos peddler has been failing upwards his entire career. It's brazy. And the last thing I'll say on this whole Sunderland thing, this whole love fest with this whole D-rate Joey Barton, Michael Carrick wannabe, like needs to stop.
Yeah.
All right. Like Granit Xhaka, like forget it. Absolute scrub. Again, all goes back to that whole same concept of whitewashing. 6 years of being an absolute chump of a player, and then and then he has one above average season. Again, wasn't a great season. It was above average for what we need. People need to really weigh it down a bit. They really need to not, roll down the notch a little bit. Sorry for the
no, well put, man. And that's a whole different angle as well. Not just because we're all looking at it as Arsenal fans, so we do associate Arteta saving his job with it being solely at the Arsenal. But if you want to look at it deeper, because where would he go? Where who would say, oh yeah, I need second place 3-4 times in a row? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a great point. That is an absolutely great point. Yeah, and very well put. Sorry if you can hear the rat. I think people's coming in from school as we speak. Cool. So we're going to go into Harry Potter mode, like I asked all my guests, man. Magic wand for the doctor. 3 changes. Anything you want. Let me know what they would be, man.
3 changes. Wow, that's so first and foremost, manager P45 today. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Simple. I mean, really and truly simple as that. The second thing I think several years passed, and I think I'm still hemming and hawing over it. And who I'm hemming and hawing over are the Kroenkes. So on one hand, they have enabled this mediocrity, this idiocy that has been going on for so long. First at way back in the day, when they had acquired full ownership, they were incredibly direct with the fans that their intent was not to win trophies, which again, that should be a red flag for anyone who actually wants to see Arsenal be successful. And then, of course, hiring an incompetent novice manager whose only experience was being the lapdog of an actual successful manager. And then you give him 6 years and £1 billion. If that is either not a condemnation of how quote unquote some businessmen are so successful just because they're so smart. No, I know it's just sometimes it's just a matter of sheer luck and good timing.
Yeah.
Because no successful businessmen are investing $1 billion into a novice with no resume. That is just not a competent business decision.
Right.
Granted, my perspective, and granted, also like a good ask for why there should be like a wealth tax. Again, someone can just waste £1 billion, you know, like without there being like any type of result, as some type of like vanity pet project. But again, I'm definitely diverging a little bit. But I mean, like, but to that end, the last 12 months since they have hired Berta, I think that definitely is where like I'm hemming on, because perhaps, you know, like life is always one's greatest teacher, you know, and there's no such thing as, you know, there's no such thing as there not being anything left to learn. So you know, like, so perhaps the Kroenkes have a bit of buyer's remorse. Perhaps they have hired Berta as the response to that remorse, saying, okay, well, we don't want to say it out loud just because we don't want to be like the idiot billionaires, but we kind of fucked up hiring Arteta. And now what they've done, you know, they've hired Berta as pretty much the vulture sitting behind Arteta's neck, breathing down his spine, because ultimately Arteta knows the pressure's on. He knows his ass is grassed if he doesn't win anything this season. Right. So, so I guess I would probably still lean on changing the Kroenkes, just because I don't want that incompetence, you know, like anywhere around
the club. Yeah, no, I get it. That's two. The manager, Kroenkes. That's two.
The third, this may be a bit rude, but again, no offense, Top Gooners, but y'all need to bounce as well.
Go with him. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And it ain't the first time that I've heard that either. And I've even heard it from their side. They're like, get rid of the negative. And listen, all's fair in love and war. The same way, you know, they infuriate us is the same way I know that I infuriate other people, because we just recently been clipped up for doing just that. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. You know what I mean? And this is a safe space, and it's your Under the Lens. So say what you feel. Just talking on the Kroenkes, and just quickly before we kind of move on. That was worrying for me very, very early on. I mean, even because before we hired Unai, I was hearing that they were talking to Arteta very early on. So for me, as you said, it couldn't have been any clearer that this is just a business move. And I think, you know, and kudos to the Americans, you know, they're not shy, you know. We're seeing a little bit with FSG, a little bit of ambition. As you said, now maybe the Kroenkes are looking a little bit different at it. But at that time, when, you know, clubs were being taken over by American owners, it was literally for the money. Like, the money will come out of us and go towards his ranch, or, you know, whatever he's doing, his insurance, things like that. So I was always do you feel like, and I'm kind of going around the houses to get to this question, do you feel like someone might have actually been in their ear, like, if you don't take this seriously, then maybe they're going to try and start hounding you out of the club?
That's interesting. The only reason why I would say no is simply because the consumers, who purchase goods from the club, whether it be merchandise, whether it be tickets, like they unfortunately just don't hold the club, you know, like to the standard and expectation. Rather, again, like some of them are new age fans, and you know, like, in this squad that we have is the best that they've ever seen, and to their credit, you know, can't dispute that. The only thing that I can dispute is that the world just didn't start when you started watching Arsenal.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, facts, big facts. They always do that, man. Sorry if I cut across you. They
didn't know.
It's a new season, like, but then we're literally just keep touching the stove. Like, we've got barely any skin left on the palm. We just keep touching it because it's the new season. You know, like, that's how it feels to me. You know, very silly. Let's I know obviously your thoughts on the manager. I normally ask, you know, Arsenal fans, do you believe in him? You know, is he the guy to take us forward? But I feel like that's kind of wasted. Let's talk about the Champions League, because I ask all of my guests this because they always want to talk about progress and things like that. Well, then that would mean a final this year for Arsenal in the Champions League, because last year was the semi, year before that is the quarter.
Just by default, right?
Right. So, I mean, you know, logic would see that as that's the next step. Then that would be progression. But all jokes aside, what do you think our chances are in the competition, bro?
I mean, slim to none. And I actually do want to just address the Arteta bit just ever so quickly. I've never fucked with this manager, all right, since day dot. Not just as a manager, but as a player, all right. Like I can't tell you how profound of how profound sadness I had felt, not only seeing Fabregas leave, but we were replacing Fabregas with Arteta. Oh my! I mean, like, see, like, so it was from that moment right there.
It was deep, yeah. It was even
that
deeper.
moment right then and there. Yeah. I had known. You know what? Nope. I can already see it, and again, like, it didn't even take me an entire season to realize that. Again, like this. I mean, like we truly went like from Mark and Spencer's all the way down. I mean, like.
Iceland, bro. Yeah.
I mean, like, I can't even like. I mean, like, what would you rate lower than, I don't know, like Greg's or like Tesco?
I'm like I don't know, Iceland, Aldi, but like Aldi and Lidl quite good these days. I don't know. Mums go to Iceland. That's always been kind of a budget store over here. Do you know what I'm saying?
There you go. There you go. Because because let me like, so again, like, there is no agenda that I have. All right, the only agenda that I have is seeing armpits in May. That's the only agenda I have. I don't care who the players are in the squad. I don't care who the managers at the end of the day. I ultimately don't care about backroom things. The only reason why I do, the only reason why a lot of people care about the backroom things, why they care about the players on the pitch, why they care about the manager, is because things aren't successful and people are analyzing what the fuck is going on, why things are wrong. Right. And then we started like microscopically identifying, like who is rather like who or what things at the club are composite to why we're failing. Like, so good segue to your question about the Champions League. Slim to none. simply because A, we've never done it before. B, the manager doesn't have the stones. Like he does not have the stones or the spine to get over the line. And I've said it before, and I'll stand on this as well. You could give Arteta the world's best starting 11 over the last 20 years, and he'll still fail to win a trophy. Again, people rather.
I believe that.
Like now the excuse is, were you expecting to win the league with Edward and Nketiah and Raheem Sterling? Brother, was Leicester City expecting to win the league with Danny Drinkwater? Seriously, like what? What's
going on? I mean, bro, I had this morning someone say to me, this afternoon, someone came in and they said, you expected Arteta to challenge in 22-23 when no one realized we was going to be good enough, or no one realized. Like, you're in that situation, bro. Is this not a professional sport? I mean, what do you set out to do? To coast? I don't understand it. And let me just also say, you used the word earlier, because every time we have conversations, there's plenty of syllables. You know what I'm saying? I love all of that. You were saying it's profound. I was thinking, what could go? Profound melancholy. Melancholy. Yeah, you said something earlier though, bro, and it had about 5-6 syllables. I'm like, what on earth is that? Like, so I want to learn something new. Do you remember what you said, bro?
I think we have to catch on.
I'm like, damn, there was about 5-6 syllables in that one. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So no, I love that, man. A profound melancholy, definitely, because, and I'm not going to try and say I was like that the whole way through. I was at the start, right? And then I was most of the time up until 22-23. Because you finally, seeing is believing. You finally showed me something that I could buy into, right? And even now, right? And I asked you about some of your good and bad memories, growing up. And you told me about times when we played good football. And people don't think that's important anymore. But years later, Arsenal fans are still living off of it. And I do the same. Absolutely.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Because again, don't have an agenda. I've seen good players at this club.
Same.
Odegaard, oh dear God, get out of this club. Follow your manager out the door too. I'm sorry, brother. I really am. You know, like I mean, like, look, you know, and getting granted, I will be fair to the players. I do want to see them play under a better manager because you know. So again, I will give you that salvo, but oh my days. I mean, like, and again, there's no agenda. I've seen like Rosicky on one leg is better than Odegaard. I'm sorry, you know, like I've seen
Chleb. You know what I'm saying?
Chleb. We've seen Nasri. We've seen Santi.
Oh my God!
I mean, we have had such a treasure trove of attacking midfielders, and that's why I still say it again. As harsh as it may be, Odegaard is one of the worst attacking midfielders in the Emirates era, let alone the Premier League era for Arsenal.
Couldn't tie Ozil's boots, bro, and I hate when he gets compared. Sickening, bro. Oh. Sickening, but what a point. Yeah, what a great point, man. What a great point. So yeah, slim to none in the Champions League. I listen, I don't think we'll do anything better than the quarters unless things really start to click into gear. Like I said, seeing is believing. I'll go back to what I was saying. I weren't with him, you know. I was very upset that we missed out the champs, you know, Spurs and all of that stuff. And then we actually saw I saw something I could get behind. You know what I'm saying? And then the season after that, it wasn't as good as 22-23, of course. But, you know, there was periods where things were going all right. And you kind of believe a little bit, you know, even though towards the end of that season, it weren't in our hands. But the Premier League, it was at the Emirates. Do you know what I'm saying? Because mathematically, it weren't in our hands. But so I was, and when he was like, you know, second's not good enough, I think that, I'm not even going to lie, I think that was probably the biggest time that I was behind him, right? For like, you know, the biggest time that I was ever behind him is that year when he said that. But then the irony is that he lost all of that credit literally in that summer because of what he went and did.
well, see, and it's exactly that. So like, you know, Juilliard, which is probably one of the best performing arts schools in the United States, only ranks second to the Tapas Pulis School of the Performing Arts. I mean, like, you know, like straight out of London Colney. I mean, like this guy's an actor, all right? He's a telenovela actor, all right? Like, I mean, like, I'm, you know, like, I mean, again, like, you know, as you said, seeing is believing.
Yeah.
Like we hear the words that you're saying, but your actions are not reflecting that. I mean, like, it is truly simple as that, you know, like, you know, again, like maybe I'm the schmuck, right? You know, I mean, like, I mean, like, it's not like I haven't watched this club for so long, like fail at, you know, like getting over the line so many times, you know, like, and then to hear the excuses go on and on and on, like I'm famished. Like I am deliriously famished for silverware. I mean, why is it such a problem? You know, like, and again, I don't care if it's Mikel Arteta, I don't care if it's Luis Enrique, I don't care if it's Daffy fucking Duck. All right, you know, just get us over the line and win.
Wow. Hold on. And I've got to say that because you know this I'm not even going to mention his name because that's what he's doing it for. This plank is talking like, yeah, I genuinely believe these people want Arsenal to lose. I take this shit home with me. Like, I'm still pissed off about Sunderland. It feels like a loss. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
It stings.
It stinks. And I couldn't care if it is Arteta. They're saying, what would you do if he wins? I say it's about damn time. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say. And keep on winning. Otherwise, you're out of it. That's what I was going to segue on to next. You know what? Because everyone's got their standards. We've spoken about it before. We spoke about it on the member stream, but obviously that wasn't for everyone. And this is your show. So, you know, what is, you know, Dr. Seymour standards? And I will get into the comments in just a second again. And if there is any questions, quickly get them in, put a queue, and we'll try and get to it before we get out of here. But yeah, you know, what's your standard? You know, what keeps him on another year?
This is a massive problem and a massive Sophie's choice kind of question. It really is, because here is the problem. So ultimately, like, I want him out of this club, like, today. Yeah. Again, like, I know I'm gonna get clipped up for this. I know I am. I honestly don't give a shit because, again, like, you know, so look, if he wins the quad, he gets to have one more year to prove himself. But you know, I mean, like, but again, like, that's not going to happen.
No.
You know, like we have better chance of, like winning the lottery, getting struck by lightning, getting cancer, getting cured of cancer in the same time. There's a whole litany of things. You can wrap a list around the world, 10 times over of all the things that are more likely than Mikel Arteta getting over the line. All right, and again, I've seen I've seen enough. I have heard enough of his crack pipe press conferences to know that this man doesn't have a single iota of a clue as far as what's going on.
Right.
All right. If he wins the league, sack. If he wins the domestic cups, sack. Again, we've spent £1 billion. He's had over 6 years. This club has gone so long without silverware and also winning the league. People want to talk about catch-up spending money. We have catch-up trophies. I don't think people understand what's going on here. I think he should be launched into outer space. I'm over it. And if outer space doesn't suffice, then just go back to Bilbao.
To Bilbao, yeah, at least bare minimum. Oh wow, no, but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I feel like there's not enough outrage. People are so. Andrew Tate saying, people are barely sentient. They're so I can't believe how mediocrity has risen to the top. As you said, he's in the wrong job. He really is a politician. I'll give him credit. I'll give him credit for making the club money. I don't think I've ever seen as much merch as I've seen, released in the last few years. All of this kind of stuff that we got, all of this, the journey and not the destination, all this crap that we see. I've never seen so much of it in my life. So he's got credit like that. He's the man for the job in that regard on a business sense. But in terms of football, oh my God. Do you know what I'm saying? Cool. What do you think of the rivals this year, my bro? Because just quickly, obviously people are giving Arsenal a lot of credit. Where I've been looking at our games, I feel like we're going to come unstuck and the rest of the league hasn't caught up yet. How do you look at it? Do you think it's Arsenal being great or the rivals being a bit poor?
See, now this is also a great narrative that needs to be dispelled as well. The rivals are underperforming. Whether it be last year's champions in Liverpool, whether it just be a bastion of English football in Manchester United. It's because those teams are underperforming that contrasts so well with the facade that Arsenal are performing, or I guess over exceeding what seems to be such a incredible performance. And so they talk about all of these defensive records. Despite the fact that we're lined up so defensively that that we ultimately tend to have between 6 to 7
defensive players, yeah.
Always sitting in front of the keeper. It creates a false positive of a narrative in my perspective. If our rivals were performing any better, we certainly wouldn't be in the position that we're in right now, for sure.
Oh, great. And that's what I'm trying to say. City started off shakily, couple losses. They've gotten it together slightly but surely, and now all of a sudden it's 4 points, and people are changing their tune. I've heard Man City fans grow a pair. I've heard Arsenal fans saying, I'm so worried about Man City fan now. The same people that wasn't worried only a week ago. So this is why I just try and say, people, just calm mate, relax a little bit. Big up to Storm still quickly. I'll try and get through a few of these comments because people are in and out. And they get a bit pissy if they get ignored. He said, Arsenal women are awesome. You need to watch a few games, bro. AJ and Latvian will tell you how good it is. I wish I could watch the games, but I'm not going to buy a subscription in a million different places just because they want to change it all the time. It's really annoying to me. And I use a US site called Yora as well. They show a lot of Peacock stuff, but there's no women's football on there whatsoever. Big up to AJ. He's got Rob's link there. Rob Future. Big up to Rob. Storm still, you heard about Katie Reed. Jamboy, last 5 years don't give me any confidence we win anything. Well, there you go. There you go. Storm, bigging up Hendo. Yeah, she was, bro. As for the Arsenal ladies overall, I love watching them play. Renee Sledges actually knows how to win. Yeah, you're always going on about it. I know that. There's Jam Boys link. Big up, big up. Let me just see if there's actually any question. Well, look at this for a question. Which laxatives do you recommend? As I'm full of shit as Arteta. Daily enemas too. Fuck knows, man. Laxative. I don't. What's the name brand for laxatives now?
Well, here at London Colney Renal Center, we only deal with generic prescriptions.
Generic,
yeah. You know, like if you would like to, like take the LNER down over here, we can certainly sort you out.
Yeah, the doctor's talking now, man. Make sure you're listening. Big up to Rob. He said, but when you say that about him being in a job so long, the Arteta fans say, "Oh, but look at the mess he inherited."
Yeah, I mean, again, like that's another false narrative, because again, like that mess he inherited won him his only managerial trophy to date. And again, I'm also going to say it here right now as well. And again, if you want to clip me up Arteta sexuals, be my guest. Aubameyang and Ozil still walk into the first team today.
Oh, even at their age, do you know what I mean? I don't know if you've seen. I don't even know if you've seen Ozil nowadays, but he's when they're talking about Swolver.
He's brolic right now.
Yeah, he's talking about Swolverts. You're getting it mistaken. Do you know what I mean? Because Ozil's the real swole. I'll take him back now. But big up to Rob and big up for you guys that are still here. Make sure that you are subscribing to my guest, though. His link is pinned. It's pinned in the comment. Go and show him love. Guys, go and Google Marta Huerta de Aza, if I've said that right. Spanish referee that should be a model. Oh, listen, I can imagine. I can imagine. I'll try and skip some of these dappings just to see if there's any questions. And then obviously I'll let me just ask you about it now, actually. I mean, because obviously, people know you as Dr. Seymour Butts. You have got a channel, America's Public Servant. I mean, what's the plans? Is there any plans? Is it, a change of direction? What's happening over there, bro?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it has been a little bit more of me slacking as well as focusing on trying to find different employment. So I am, for the most part, very limited in what I can do and say on an official basis. Because of the position that I hold. But to that end, though, I think there are probably ways around that I can, say for example, I have just ever so slightly rebranded my channel name. But to that end, I really ought to be doing a lot more content there, because there is a fuck ton of content to be talking about. Overall, just the overall degradation and destruction of public service as a whole in the United States. I mean, there's been a complete assault and affront on it, and it's already proving. It's again. I really don't want to divert this entire thing, but overall, I do need to start creating more content there. Yeah, I
know what you're saying. I mean, it's gonna, because obviously that's why I'm asking about you and your channel, because it's gonna be like world views, like you said, the public service system. I mean, what is everything being outsourced? That's what's happening over here.
Not necessarily. So I would say public services being outsourced, but I mean, there are certainly contractual aspects of it, but I mean, but just public service and government as a whole being rather being attacked. And unfortunately, this has been a philosophical pursuit of certainly the last 40 years by some folks that ultimately we have a legislative branch that is completely defunct and ultimately reduced to its most bare bones of activity. We have a judicial branch that ultimately rubber stamps everything done by the executive branch, and that all coincides with something that's called a unitarian executive theory, that ultimately the executive branch has supreme authority, but that's not how checks and balances work across three branches of government. So
is that why sorry to just jump in, is that why Obama's getting heat now as well? Because I'm pretty sure I saw something the other day, I think Trump is maybe the amount of executive orders that were run in his, in his time. I don't know. I'm not fully into it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but I did see something, and I thought, oh, maybe it's about that.
So look, so I mean, like, so executive orders for the most part is something very nascent and very new. Not necessarily like in the action itself, but in the ubiquity, in the frequency of how often they're being used, and that has really, like I'll say, like, rather, like, we have, like, this has really started back, like, over the last 15 years. So like rather, like, for example, like, not even say like the early mid 2000s was this occurring. Like this had only really started around, rather, like, right after, like, the financial recession, like, like, ultimately, like,
2008.
Yeah, 2009. Correct. Like, and also just as well, like, like, executive order is only supposed to be used for very, like, emergency, very auxiliary type of, rather type of reason. So, like, and what the executive branch has been doing over the last 15 years, like, on both sides of the aisle, they've ultimately been replacing executive action with the actual, like, legislative process. But simply because there has been so much gridlock in the legislative branch, laws don't get passed by Congress, and ultimately the executive branch decides to pick up the slack as much as they can within staying within the confines of those checks and balances, like, between each branch of government.
Damn, there's a lot. So if world events, if you like that kind of thing, you know what I mean? There's a lot. Like I said, the link is in the chat. Make sure you subscribe, and you know what I mean? Hopefully there will be content over there for you to get into real soon. Big up to Jamboy saying Storm still. Yeah, she would get it. Look at this. Yeah, it is a sausage fest. Big up to I was about to say that, and then Claire's here. Big up to Claire. You know what I mean? It was more of a boys' club, but Claire's part of the gang. You know what I mean? Glad to see you in here. Hope you're doing well.
Hold on, pause. She's not part of the gang. I would say that she's probably, like, the premier financier.
Yeah. Maybe I'm playing it down. I'm playing it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like, I got you, Claire. Yeah, no, I see. Like, I see you dropping all those, all those bombs all over the place.
Yeah, man. Big up to Claire, man. And Suge been going crazy lately. Jamboy, do you know what I mean? Always welcome, man. But big up, and I'm glad that you're locked in. Hope everyone's having a good day and a good week so far. Kwaja, big up. Heard that last night. Poor Katie, so harsh. Growing into the team and gaining confidence. What did she get left out? I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Rob saying £1 billion spent, and our fans moaning about Sunderland moving the advert.
See, like, that right there, that's proper dark arts Arteta sexuals. Like, hold that. Yeah. Seriously,
hold that. I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't know how you. I mean, when I saw that kind of stuff, oh, look at that. There's no space to do a long throw. I saw that on X, and I was like, really? Like, for me, it's embarrassing. I don't know how you see it quickly.
Yeah, like, you're a professional player. If you can't do a long throw, then just do a regular throw. All right, it's fine. And if the manager is going to make you run suicides at London Colney, rather the day after, then I don't know, like, run suicides. Seriously, don't be a plank, and just don't be complaining about how how they move the boards. Like, I mean, like, it's like, again, like, it's why we get bantered. It's why we have such the reputation online. It's crazy.
You can see the pain on his face. No, it's absolutely facts. She's pretty okay. So I'm missing a bit of a conversation there. Storm, who on playbacks and that. Listen, you lot are talking about whoever this person is. Big up to you. Claire Bear's in the building. Big up to Storm. Darren's in the house. I just want to see Yeah, man. I just want to see if there's any kind of questions that we're missing as we're coming to the end. 21 likes.
I think there were a few questions by age.
Yeah, I want to try, because you know what I'm like. And obviously, I like to let the guests talk. I'm going to say this. If I had Arteta's success rate in my job, I will get sacked. Why is it different for Arteta? Well, they'll tell you it's 60% win rate. 60%. But but as Doctor said, as I've said, in any walk of life, 5 years. Listen, like I said earlier, I've got no experience in carpentry. Give me 6 years and I'll redo your house for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what this is all about. But big up to you guys. Big up to AJ. Definitely like the stream. Make sure you're subbing to my guest though, guys, as well. Show him some love. Big up Storm. There's the same message. Big up the assembled in the building. Hope you're well as well, mate. Big up to you. AJ, I'm very concerned about our defense, but if our back line is poor, DVD is found out every time. Big up Claire. Sorry, can't really talk. I'm in class. See, that's dedication. That's why you're MVP round here. Nothing to be sorry for. Darren Martin, don't say you're an Arsenal fan, please. Of course, man. Big up to Spirit High. Big up views in chat. Hope you're well today. League already done, in my opinion, but sadly, I can't see a cup with this defense either. I think you guys are talking about the ladies, if I'm not mistaken. Still, I'm moving like one of those thirsty internet dudes who profess love in the comment threads. Hey, big up Darren, man. And listen, you know what I mean? Thoughts and prayers goes out to everyone back at yard. So you was gonna say something, Doc? I thought you was gonna say something there.
Yeah, no, man, just gotta just stay on the oxtail and rice, my friend.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Big up, man. I still have faith in the team because they have an awesome match. Yeah, so you guys are still obviously talking about the ladies. Then it could never be about Arteta. Rob says, still learn your history. I did in 1993 without the ease of the internet access. It's crazy. People don't even want to just go onto Google for a quick fact check. You know, look where he bought us from. You know, knowing full well that his first 2 seasons were 8th, or 8th, 5th. You know, if we was in Bognor Regis at any point, he was the coach driver at the time. Like, I don't understand why people just forget that. That really annoys me. Like, I call it Marvel What If. I mean, what's your thoughts on that quickly, bro?
I apologize. What was the question?
You know, when they say, "Oh, look where he's taken us from," you know, because basically, say, you know, that's what they say. That's the myth that he's taken us. We was in such dire straits before he got here, and now everything's gorgeous. You know,
right? Well, I mean, all I can say is that, you know, like even during Wenger's downturn, you know, like rather like in the roughly 6 to 8 years like before he had left, like he was still winning trophies. All right, you know, like you know, like and then to that end, you know, like we were not relegated. We were nowhere near relegation. We were still a club that was able to win a trophy. As mediocre as some of the players were, and there was a lot of dross there. Not to say that there wasn't, but it was still a team that was able to get over the line. You know, like, you know, and again, as we know, as we've seen sometimes before, there are teams that win honors that may not have the best players on paper, but when it comes to like playing on the pitch, it can be a completely different story. So like again, like no one else has spent £1 billion either. I mean, like, you know, like, I mean, like, this man has been backed so much financially. He has been given so much unprecedented authority and support at the club. You know, like it's all a farce. It really is a farce. Just to say that, that he's accomplished so much. He has accomplished nothing. All right. He's accomplished nothing that any other manager, given the same amount of time and money and patience and authority and support at this club, any other manager could have achieved that. But a good manager, a quality manager, they would have done all of that and win major honors with half the money spent.
Yep. Totally agree. Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Big up Storm. How long before Leah comes back? I miss us. Yeah, so you guys are still talking about the ladies. AJ said, I said in Positive Dan's stream, we could buy Luis Enrique for £50 million right now. He said I was incredibly ungrateful and got aggressive to defend Arteta. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't understand it. Can you get him out of your mouth, please? Like honestly, like, you want to defend a man more than what's going on at the club, you know? And this same guy, and I'll just quickly before you cut, this same guy was like, yeah, he wouldn't mind keeping Jesus. It would be nice to see him win something at Arsenal, and the guy can't stay fit on 265k a week. I mean, any response to that quickly?
Yeah, this is exactly why I coined the term Arteta sexual, like at the onset so many years ago, because again, like these are heterosexual gonad ticklers. Like they love this manager more than the club.
Yeah.
And, and again, like they may not want to verbalize it, but their emotional responses every single time that we bring up this manager says otherwise. It's basically saying that, like, oh yeah, well, like it's basically still hiding in the closet when they're still on Grindr. Stop with this madness, all right? I love this club. And if y'all suppose you love this club too, it doesn't matter who the employees are off the pitch or on the pitch. The only thing that should matter is getting over the line, because because when they do get over the line, that's how they establish their repertoire. That's how they establish their name in the industry, by getting over the line, not saying that you're just going to do it, but then never do so.
Never doing it. Amazing. No, exactly that. That turns you into winners. That's why I think winning the Carabao this season, especially if we are still there or thereabouts in the league, is so important to help us get across the line. Big up to Claire, man. We were just talking about look, the financier, you know what I mean? And here comes a super sticker. Do you know what I'm saying? So big up to you. We can give you the round of applause. You know what I mean? Always supporting the show, man. Nothing but love. MVP. I ain't even got a celebration lined up because it's under the lens. But thank you ever so much for that, man. Really appreciate you as always. You know what I mean? Big up, man. MVP. Big up Goonarican in the house as well. Big up Views and Seymour. Please click the link, guys. Go and subscribe to his channel. Go and show him some love. We've actually been going over an hour, man. Like, that's time flies when you're having fun, right? Time flies when you're having fun. I mean, I ain't got no more questions left, but before we get out of here, let me see if there's any. Did you see any questions in the chat that I might have missed? Because I haven't got there yet. Still, the Community Shield is not a trophy. Of course, it's played under friendly rules, so we don't need to talk about that anymore. Look, there we go. Questions, please, Dr. Seymour. Do you want us to fix left wing in January or leave that for the next manager?
Great question. Great question. If there's a player available, so look, like at the end of the day, like I want this club to win, and so many times like we do not take advantage of where we are during the season, and there have been far too many Januaries that we have passed up the opportunity, and then come February, March, and April, like we bottle it. So so I think that that if this club is serious, if Berta is serious, and I think he is, we're definitely not skint, all right. That I know for certain. I know we have a lot of money to spend. So again, like Berta may just pull like independent authority as he had like with Eze and also Hincapié, and just get us a left winger for the club, not for the manager, but for the club. And what I will say is that I do want us to win silverware, but just know as well, like with that, if Arteta wins the league, or if by George he wins the Champions League, he'll never leave this club ever again. He'll never leave. Like I'll be long in the dirt, and he'll still be here.
Right.
So I want people like to really weigh this out, all right? Because again, like if he wins if you win something, anything for that matter, just know what we are getting in return, and that is lifelong Mikel Arteta. And also as well, he is going to use the last 5-6 years as precedents, saying, oh well, so let's say hypothetically, let's say he does win the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, right? Let's say he wins both of those cups, right? Let's say he does do that, right? He's then going to go back to the Kroenkes and say, well, it took me 6 years and £1 billion just to get 2 domestic cups. I'm going to need 10 years and £2 billion more just to win the league and Champions League as well. So I mean, it is really. So look, at this stage, considering how famished and hungry I am for silverware, I think I can also wait another year.
Wow. Yeah.
Especially if it means getting a new manager, like a better one than what we have. Especially if it means that I'll sacrifice this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, and you're not the only one, man. Legends that have been supporting the club for decades have said, even if he does win a major, they don't believe in him. And I'm the same way. Seeing is believing. you know, but I, you know, definitely feel the same way. Big up to all you legends, though. Big up to Stormy. Said if I had a DeLorean, I go back in time to remove Arteta ever. But that's it, man. That is it indeed. You know what I mean? That is it indeed. Facts. Okay, talking about Rene still. Big up to Storm still. Big up to you, Guna Rican. Fortunately, views.cmo, I've got to go. I mean, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up now anyway because I got things to do. Like I said, it's been great. It's been so quick. Like, I feel like I've been sitting here for 10 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's been amazing, man. We always have a good talk anyway, me and the doc. Please, for the guys that are still in here, make sure that you are subbing to him, showing some love. Doc, are you on TikTok? I can link a few videos if you need to check out.
So I am a little bit of a social media nomad. I don't really have much of a presence. I mean, so for example, like I don't have Instagram. I don't have Snapchat. I mean, like I only use Facebook just for like the messenger bit, just so I can just so I can like talk to my folks like over in England. But like I have a very, very measured social media presence, just because I mean, again, I think it's become a lot more destructive than it has been beneficial in everyone's life.
Sure. Cool, man. Obviously, yeah. But like I said, you know, subscribe to his YouTube channel and show him some love in that way. We have the same problem in the UK. Yeah, we do. Just quickly, views. It was Biden or people representing him that used an auto pen to sign executive orders, which is illegal. Of course, but I'm saying in Obama's time, I think that was like the most that has ever been signed, if I'm not mistaken, unless Biden went and outdone him.
I don't remember the quantities. I mean, what I can say for certain is that like it did spike in Obama's first presidency because I mean, like ultimately kind of like recycling as to why we're having like all of these like healthcare premium expenses like occurring right now. Like so back in 2008, 2009, like healthcare expenses in this country were abysmal. They were roughly about, you know, like 1,000 to 2,000 per month. Like I mean, like especially depending like on how debilitating the condition is, and ultimately as well, like the United States remains the only industrialized nation in the world that does not guarantee healthcare, like as a basic right of its citizenry. You know, like I mean, like we have unfortunately propped up an insurance industry that operates as a middleman, that basically extracts payments like from patient to provider, and ultimately raises the cost. So you know, like I mean, this ultimately, you know, like if all of Europe, if pretty much again like every industrialized nation in the world can figure out how to provide healthcare at half the cost that we do, as well as promote better healthcare outcomes, you know, like we can do it in the wealthiest country in the history of the world as well.
That's crazy.
But we simply choose not to, because, and unfortunately as well, like our healthcare is directly tied to our employment, not directly tied to our citizenship.
It's Orwellian. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's Orwellian. And the closest that I've ever been to America was Mexico. I went to Cancun. I know Cancun's not even really considered Mexico, but there you go. I was there, and my daughter slipped in the shower. She smashed their head open. Now, of course, I've got insurance, but that was the first thing you're asking. I'm like, can you go and get something to stop the bleeding on my daughter's head? The first thing they're asking for is money. Like, there's no value of life. And what they're trying to do over here is the same with privatizing everything, the mail-in system, the healthcare. They're trying to do it. They're trying to pop it all down. So, you know, as bad as it is in America, they are trying to make it like that everywhere else.
Okay, and all I would say, like, and I'll say, like, to that end, like, so basically, like in 2009, like rather like during like Obama's first term, they were tending to pass healthcare reform, and one aspect of that reform was basically a public option that would provide like a government-based option to compete with the private options. That option got completely voted down because it was being held up by one vote. So they removed it. The Affordable Care Act was ultimately passed, and all of those tax subsidies that were reducing the monthly premiums like for healthcare costs, they just expired just a few weeks, just 11 days ago.
Wow.
Like so basically everyone's like healthcare premiums next year. They were talking about a 50 to roughly a 400% increase, like in cost. Like it's absolutely
the Hunger Games. Like how yeah,
you're right. It's a Hunger. It's the same exact problems and troubles that existed pre-2008, and additionally, the same folks that have been trying to gut the Affordable Care Act haven't been able to provide any type of option, let alone a better one, to rather than to replace it with. Again, all they want to do is just destroy it, not replace it. Just destroy it.
Yeah, because middle class are under attack, man. It's just rich and poor now, and that's basically what it is. Big up Mr. Pads, though. Really appreciate you being in these. Bigging up Views and the Doctor. Views, when I hit the like button on phone, I see a small animation of a football spinning around on your channel. YouTube recognizes you. Okay. Well, hopefully.
That's dope, man.
That's dope. Hopefully we will see. Big up to you, though. I have got another question starred here. I will make this the last one because I actually do have to get out of here. But like I said, man, it's been amazing. This is from Vigilante. He said, Dr. Seymour, who is the first player that caught your attention and loved?
Great question. So, I gotta say it's So the first player that caught my attention was Nicolas Anelka. He was lemon pepper wings with the V cuts kind of cold. He was cold. But I would say, if we're talking about both rather caught my attention and loved, not say that I did not love Anelka Arsenal, because he just oozed class. He really was, and it always makes you wonder what kind of squad we would have had with both Anelka and Henry, right? It would have been absolutely brazy. But the first player that I love caught my attention, it's Bergkamp. Iceman, baby. Yeah, another absolute legend.
That's what I'm saying. I was just young, and I remember Anelka, and I was thinking to myself, professional football, I get a proper haircut. But nah, man, in terms of him as just a striker, man, deadly, absolutely deadly. That would have been amazing.
And also the audacity of these heterosexuals to compare Captain Pillowfoot to Bergkamp. I swear down. Again, to their credit, some of them we're not old enough, and it's not to say that I did not watch them so so consistently, when I was a young child as well. But I know that plenty of Arsenal fans around the world and in England who have had more years than I will ever have watching this club. All they do is wax lyrical about Bergkamp, right? And the highlights only do it justice.
Even
they don't do it justice. Rather, I'll just say, so some of these men, again, look, they may have very honest and good intentions about this club, but they have really just fallen into this void of emotional obscurity that they're just buying it. They're buying into everything that this club and that this manager says. There was I'll end my answer here. Do you remember those VHSs that the club used to release back in the day, talking about the entire season review?
Sure.
Some of these fans need to rewatch that, because let me tell you, now that is a good watch.
Yes,
good watch.
Yes, sir. Just the standards in general, the game of football in the physicality, so much has changed. But you're right, and people can't be blamed for when they were born, just like we can't, because we were born when we saw the club doing business. Storm says Ghost of God would never. Yeah, that's absolutely
never ridiculous. In the same room. Never even not on the same planet.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, exactly that, man. But listen, this has been amazing. I got things to do with the daughter and that. So listen, American public servant, it's, like I said, it's been amazing, man. Last words from yourself, bro. I don't know if you're gonna have anything coming up, or just a last little message for everyone.
Yeah, so actually, I am going to be on a live this Thursday. I don't. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Y'all's time there. So 4 p.m. over here in Los Estados Unidos. Jesus Christ. And you know, I mean, like basically you said, I mean, like I really have to get some more content on my channel. I really just have been slacking, and unfortunately, I've just been getting dogged like by employment left and right. So which is also, I mean again, like it's the irony in the sense that I don't have a job. I currently have one. I just need to leave this one that I have, that I'll be able to, you know, like be more expressive and actually be able to pursue what I want to do. So again, it's all a work in progress.
All a work in progress, man. No, it's been amazing, man. I wouldn't even like to cut it short, but like I said, I got to take the daughter, I got to do this, that, and the other. But yes, his link is pinned. A big up Kwaja. He said that North was live, but I can see that Vigilante's live, so we're gonna send you over to Vigilante. And yeah, man, it's been great, man. This has been your Under the Lens, Dr. Seymour Butts, American public servant. Thank you ever so much. Let's give him a round of applause.
Let's up with that, man. Again, you know, absolute pleasure and wonderful conversation as well.
Come on, man. Always is, man. And a member, so obviously we'll have some more member streams, and we'll chop it up again soon. Of course, when we drop the link out for intervention, you might see the doctor's face as well. Big up, everyone. Get over to Vigilante. Tell him views on Doc Raid, and we'll see you again soon, people. Peace, man. Peace.